Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to review the two skills, valid claims and making inferences from random samples. So let's start with valid claims. The first thing that we should discuss is the terms random sampling. You're going to see this phrase in these skills. Basically, random sampling is when you select your subjects so that all members of a population have an equal and independent chance of being selected. You want to make sure that it's not something biased. So, for example, you wouldn't just ask the math club at our school what their favorite subject is, because chances are the majority of them would all say math. That would be a biased sample. Okay, so you have to just make sure that you have an unbiased group that you are surveying in order to get a valid conclusion or a valid claim from it. How do you determine if a claim is valid? First, you have to determine if a random sample was being used, and then determine if you are able to draw a valid claim or conclusion from that random sample. So let's take a look at some questions. The curriculum committee at Larchmont High School wants to offer a new elective course next year. They decide to survey Larchmont's 1,500 students to determine which course students would prefer. The choices are history of art, robotics, and money and you. Which of the following survey methods would allow the committee to make a valid conclusion about which course the students at Larchmont prefer? If you look in the first answer choice, you'll see that they only asked students in science classes. That could be a biased conclusion because only science students were asked. It wasn't a random sample. In the second answer choice, you'll notice it says assign a number to each student and use a computer program to generate 150 random numbers between 1 and 1,500 and ask those students whose numbers are selected. This one would not be biased because the students were randomly selected. The school board administered a reading test to all 8th grade students at High Achievers Charter School and determined that 10% of them were reading below grade level. Based on this data, which of the following conclusions are valid? Notice that they administered the test to only 8th grade students, okay? So because all 8th grade students were tested, you can make a valid conclusion. Looking at the answer choices, A doesn't work because it says 10% of all students. Well, that's not true because the only ones surveyed were 8th grade students. In answer choice B, it says 10% of students in this sample are reading below grade level, which is also not true because it was all 8th grade students. It wasn't just a sample of them. And then the last choice, which is the correct one, it says 10% of all 8th grade students at HACS are reading below grade level. Well, that would be a valid conclusion because it was 10% of all the 8th grade students. The drama teacher wants to know whether more families of students at the school would attend a musical or a comedy. Which of the following survey methods will allow the drama teacher to make a valid conclusion about which genre of performance more families would attend? So we have the two different answer choices. It says assign a number to each family, use a computer program to select 20 random numbers between 1 and the total number of families and ask the families selected. That is a way to randomly sample a population. If you look at B, they are using the letters of the alphabet, assigning the number to each family whose last name begins with that letter, and then using a computer program to select a random number between 1 and the total number of families whose last name begins with that letter, and then asking the family selected. Well, if you think about last names, a lot of last names begin with the same letter. So this would not be random sampling. Not everybody would have the same chance. So that is why A is the correct choice for this one. Okay, let's get into making inferences from random samples. This is very similar to a previous skill that we did last week on making predictions. So let's take a look at the first one. A group of 50 randomly selected Clyde marketing employees were asked what their most common form of transportation is. The bar graph below shows the results of the survey. There are 275 employees at Clyde Marketing. Based on the data, what is the most reasonable estimate for the number of Clyde Marketing employees whose most common form of transportation is riding a bus? Well, 50 people were surveyed, and as you can see in the graph, I've added how many people for each bar. So this would be 19 people for driving, 16 people for the bus, 11 for walking, and 4 for other. If you add all those together, you will get 50. So as you can see off to the right, I've set up a proportion, just like we did with making predictions. We want to know the number of employees whose most common form of transportation is riding a bus. So you can see 16 out of 50 people rode a bus, and we want to know how many out of the 275 total employees. You're solving it just like a proportion. First, find your cross products. 50 times x is 50x. 16 times 275 is 4,400. And then to get your variable alone, you're going to divide both sides by 50, leaving you with x equals 88 people, which is answer choice A. Wholesome Pizza surveyed a random sample of 40 Trinity Food Festival attendees about their favorite type of pizza. Of the attendees surveyed, 21 said that sausage pizza was their favorite type of pizza. There are 1,600 Trinity Food Festival attendees. Based on the data, what is the most reasonable estimate for the number of Trinity Food Festival attendees whose favorite type of pizza is sausage pizza? Well, of the 40 people sampled, 21 said that sausage pizza was their favorite pizza. So in my proportion, I have 21 out of 40 equals x, or how many out of 1,600. Again, we're just solving a proportion, so find your cross products. 40 times x equals 40x. 21 times 1,600 equals 33,600. And then to get x by itself, we're just dividing both sides by 40, leaving us with x equals 800, excuse me, and 40. Fremont Run Club surveyed a random sample of 30 of their members about their running habits. Of the members surveyed, 9 said that they run more than 5 days a week. There are 84 Fremont Run Club members. Based on the data, what is the most reasonable estimate for the number of Fremont Run Club members who run more than 5 days a week? So 9 people said they run more than 5 days, and that's 9 out of the 30 people sampled. So 9 over 30 equals x over 84. Find your cross products. 30 times x is 30x. 9 times 84 is 756. And then you are dividing both sides by 30, leaving you with x equals 25.2, which means that the first answer choice, 25, would be the best estimate. Okay, the correlating note-taking packets for these two note-taking packet pages for these two skills are pages 14 through 17, top of the page. I have posted the answers to the note-taking packet. Please feel free to ask questions in the Google chat or in the Zoom session this week. Also, if you would like to see additional examples, feel free to watch the videos in Khan Academy. Enjoy your day.